Hey guys, it's me, Evelyn here on ironicxloser, and today we're going to be doing this type of poster you see in front of you. I like to call it like a movie style poster. I call it Temtress, Let Me Be Fearless. It's featuring Junhyung of Beast and 4 Minutes Hyuna. And yeah, it's very dark. You could call it angst if you want. I just wanted to make it dark because I wanted a more of a seduction type of poster. So yeah, everything you're gonna get is gonna be in this resource pack here. It's gonna be called Poster Resource Pack. Temtress, Let Me Be Fearless. So I hope you guys like. So of course you want to make a new document file, new, and we're gonna have our settings: width 500, height 765, resolution 72, and background contents are white, or you can actually make it transparent. I'm gonna set mine to transparent, and I'm gonna call it Fearless or Temtress. Poster, and you're gonna get this simple and black blank. So you want to fill it in with the color. I like to use solid color layers. So you could go down to the black and white circle and click solid color, or you could go to layer, new fill layer, solid color, and we're gonna click OK. I'm just gonna attach to the transparent layer there, and we're gonna make it a dark gray. And the numbers are gonna be 13, 13, 13, and click OK. Now we have this dark layer here. We're going to go ahead and add a texture, and the texture we're going to use is this one here. It's raindrops, or whatever it's called, 02 underscore 800 times 600, or 800 by 600, and we're going to simply just drag it into a new tab, and then open it, drag it to our image using the move tool, like so. And we're going to place it here. We're going to duplicate the image by Control J, and we're going to go to Image, or actually Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical, and we're going to shift it down so that it makes a mirrored image like so. We're going to right click and merge down so that it becomes just one layer, and we're going to move it until you are satisfied. I'm going to move mine to something like this here. Then we're going to set the mode from normal to screen, and we're going to set the opacity at 56 and the fill at 37 to make it faded, and yet you can still see the white dots underneath, or the white bubbles. So we're going to go ahead and add a pattern. Now I made the pattern for you. It's titled Pattern in your resource pack, and basically what you want to do is just click and drag it into Photoshop in a new tab, like so. You're going to go to Edit, Define Pattern. Once you define pattern, you can name it whatever you want. But I already have it, so I don't have to rename it. I'm just going to go to the black and white circle, or layer, new adjustment layer, or actually new fill layer, pattern, and you're going to click OK. And on the adjustment layer, you're just going to click the circle, and it's just going to say pattern. You're going to select that. You're going to select your pattern like so. Or actually, I don't think this one's it. And you're going to click OK. Now we're going to set the mode to lighten, and we're going to switch the opacity to 26 pixels. And it gives us this nice effect here. We don't want it to be too overpowering. We want it to be nice and light. That's why I always lower the opacity of these textures. Next, we're going to go ahead back into our resource pack and add the texture 6-13. And we're going to open a new tab, drag it onto our image, and it's a very big texture. Why don't you just make it so that the tree is kind of like touching the bottom of the image, and that the white lines are on the side here. We're going to change normal to soft light, and we're going to change the fill to 25%. So next, we're going to go ahead and drag in our people. Well, for me, it's Hyuna and Junhyung. So I'm going to click, as you, that's the image of Hyuna, and this is the image of Junhyung. Just going to select both, click one, holding Control, click the other, drag them both into Photoshop to open in new tabs. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our move tool and move it onto our Temtress poster, and you can just close the images after you're done. Now, Junhyung's image is very high quality compared to Hyuna, so I'm just going to go ahead. Hyuna's image is underneath Junhyung's layer, and Junhyung's image is right here. We're going to go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal so that he's facing Hyuna. And we're just going to go Control T, and we're going to scale him down so that he matches her size. So you just want to lock the chain link up here, and we're just going to scale him down so that he matches her size in general. Make make it a little bit smaller. I think that would be good. I always like to put them next to each other, and if the eyes match up almost, then good. You're going to tilt him inwards like so, so that he's like leaning in towards her. And I'm going to bring him on this side here. I'm going to flip his opacity back up, and I'm going to resize him a little bit more. So clicking one layer, hold Control, click the next one, hold Control T, and then we're going to shift them down just a smidge. And we're going to do something like this here. So now we're going to start on Hana's layer, and we're going to go ahead and select it. We're going to go to Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal All, so we have a layer mask next to her image. We're going to go to our brushes, reset your brushes if you've been using different brushes that aren't Photoshop default, which mine weren't. And I'm just going to go ahead and up the size of my brush to about 100 pixels. Then on the upper toolbar here, our mode is normal. We're going to set our opacity to about 40 pixels and our flow to about 50 pixels. And what I'm going to do on this layer mask, I'm going to use black as my foreground color. I'm simply going to start erasing the image, like so. And the reason why I lowered the opacity is so I can actually go in and have the detailed erase more of the outside. And even if I go over, it won't fully erase her image yet, and then I can just easily fix it if I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and cut out her, or blend her and Junhyung together, and come back when I'm done. So here is what it looks like. Hana is not fully blended anymore, but I'm just going to leave it like that because I actually want her to kind of blend into that. Or you can just group the images, Control A, and then center them like so, if you want them centered more. So I'm going to deselect, and this is what it looks like so far. Now I did two things on Hana's layer so that she'd blend in when I do the black and white, but I'm going to do that when I add the black and white. So for now I'm just going to add a simple gradient map. I'm just going to go ahead and move these down a little bit more. They're a bit too up high. Let's see, right about there. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and go to my adjustment circle here and click gradient map. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom and click this one here. And the color is 252525 by F1ECEC. And we're going to leave it like that, and it makes it match more better. Now for Hana, I added two adjustment layers to adjust her image, and what I did was add them into a clipping mask. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you on the PSD here. What I did was I added a brightness and contrast, brightness at 55, contrast at 45, and then I added a curves, which I made a point right in the beginning first square here, and drag it down a bit, and then I made another point in the third square center, and had it bump up just a smidge, and it gives us a more brightened look by darkening the hair. So I'm just going to go and drag these over since I don't want to remake them, but they'll be in the PSD for you as well, so if you guys don't want to go ahead and do that, you can add it if you need them. I'm going to right click and create clipping mask so that they only affect Hana's layer. As you can see, it looks something like this here. So I just need to do a little bit of perfecting on her image there. And a little bit down here as well. Okay. Next we're going to go ahead and add another texture, which is the text passage damage, image erasing past damage. Imagine erasing past damage. And we're going to just click, drag a new tab, then we're going to drag it over into our poster. I'm going to want it behind Junhyung, yet above Hana's layer, so we're going to set like this. Control T, and we're going to resize it to about this here. Going to tilt it like so. Set it to linear burn and the opacity at 3. You can barely see it, but it's there. So next we can go ahead and add another texture, which is the Light Leak 45. You're going to click and drag it into Photoshop, underneath tab. Go to Edit, Image Rotation 90, like so. and click and move it onto Hyuna and Junhyung's layer above everything, like so. And it's a really high quality image. You want to Control T, and we're going to scale it down so that it fits the whole image. As you can see, it's very high quality. Just going to go ahead and click and drag it like so, so that it fits the whole image. Like this, and we're going to say OK. I'm going to set this to soft light, and it gives us this very nice coloring to the image. So next we're going to go ahead and add another texture. I'm going to close that one out. We're going to use this one here, which is the 08, and as you see it has a black box here. We don't want that, so we're going to go ahead and grab our brush tool, hold Alt and select the color near it, and just brush it out. And since my tools are at, I changed them, I'm just going to resize them. So we have something like this here. We're going to go ahead and move that onto our image, like so, and it doesn't fit all the way, so we're going to Control T. We're just going to scale it up and scale it down so that it fits the whole image, and say OK. Now we're going to set this image to color burn, like so, and we're going to change the fill to 20%. So you can see the lines, it gives it a little border, which looks really cool. I'm going to close that one out, say no to the changes. Now we're going to add in another texture, which is the Crazy Kara Resource 51. So I'm going to click and drag that, and we're going to move it onto our image as well. And it's not high quality, but I didn't resize it. I left it as is. I want it over Junhyung, the red part, and I'm just going to change it to screen. And we're going to get something like this here. You can actually move it however you see fit. So I'm going to move Junhyung and Hyuna a little bit more. I'm not liking the full center position. So I'm selecting all the layers by clicking one, holding shift, clicking the other layer, including the texture and stuff that's in between. Pressing V, and I'm just going to shift it over with my mouse tool and down a bit to something like this here. I just want them to look more centered. The way they were, they looked to the center, but Hyuna was more to the right, and I didn't really want that. So we're going to just move this up like red texture a little bit more over Junhyung, like, I think this will look good, like something like right there. So now we're going to add another texture, which is this one here, 2B. You're going to click and drag it into a new tab. You're going to exit out of that one. Drag it into your image, and we're going to drag it behind Hyuna and Junhyung, above everything else, so it looks something like that. Now I resized this image by Control T. I tilted it, of course, not much, and I held Shift down and I resized it to give it a more smaller look, and I dragged it up around them about here. I set the image mode to lighten, and then what I did was I added a layer mask and I erased the edges here to blend in more with Hyuna and Junhyung because the lines had white on them. So something like that. So as you see, I resized it much more, and I kind of switched around my textures and my people a little bit while it's paused because I wasn't really feeling the way they were looking. But this is what it looks like so far. Remember, your placements are different from mine. Your models will be different from mine. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the text, or actually one more texture, my bad, I forgot. We're going to add the last texture, which is VF_Arch31. I'm going to click and drag in the new tab. Click and drag, make sure it's on top of everything else. As you can see, it's very big. We're going to image, or actually edit, transform, edit, transform, and then we're going to rotate it by 90 degrees so that it's more elongated. Like so, you're going to move it wherever you want the lines to lay, and we set normal to lighten, and it's going to give us this nice little matte look on our image. We're going to set the mode to about 30, give or take, and I'm just going to shift my images more because I'm not really feeling the way they look. So I'm just going to select the layers and shift them over more using the move tool. Oops, what did I do? So I'm going to go ahead and change the fill to more of 57 to mat it out more. Wasn't really feeling it. So next what we're going to go ahead and add our text. So you can press the T on your keyboard for text or press the T in your tool area here. And the font that I use for Temtress it's called Boycott, and I'm just going to go and click here and type it. Hit enter on the number. Hit enter to go down if you want, or just press the check mark to say yes. I usually hit the enter where my numbers are on my keyboard. Usually that one just says OK to the selection. Control A to select all canvas, V to move tool, and you want to keep it centered like so. And deselect. And I want it kind of at the bottom of their legs where it kind of just mats there, or just lays there. And then we're going to press our T tool again. We're going to type it here. And we're going to say, let me be fearless. Control A, and we're going to use the font Arial. It's a default font for all computers. We're going to change the size to about 30 pixels, and we're going to move it right here. And it seems to be a little bit bigger than what I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and change the font to 18 pixels. We're going to move it up and underneath right here. Maybe a little bit off, so the L and the T right. We're going to change the color to a bright red. So we're going to flip that up there. And we're going to drag it down so that's in between some textures. I forgot which texture I laid it between. But right underneath Canal's layer will be good. And this is what it looks like so far. Now, one last thing we need to do is we're going to add the movie credits. I found this on the internet, credits to the creator. I don't know who the creator was. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring my box down, click, and I'm going to drag it onto my image so that it just lays on it there. We're going to resize it, of course, some more. We're going to go ahead and do about 60 pixels. I'm not sure. I'm going to click OK. We're going to have it dragged down. We're going to have it underneath some textures as well. And we're going to set the normal to screen, I think. We're going to change the size some more to 50%, or 50 height. So we're going to change to 50. Click OK. We'll leave it on screen, and we're going to move it down so that it's like right on the line here. Like so. Control A, and we're going to just have V move tool, and just center it accordingly to the document. And then you're done. And it will look like this is your final product. You can go ahead and add some sharpening. So Shift Control Alt E, and where it's visible, like so. And then just go to filter. I'm going to blur it. Do surface blur by radius. I'm going to do 2 pixels radius, and the threshold I'm going to do 5. A slight blur just to soften it all up. Then we'll go to filter, sharpen, smart sharpen, of course. And I'm going to bump it up to 300 and have my radius at 0.2. So it looks like this here, and click OK. And it's ready for saving. So we're going to go to File, Save As. Don't forget to save your image as a PSD. I didn't save my PSD, so I'm going to go to my desktop, into my resource pack, and save over this one here. So click and save, click OK. OK again, and you're going to save it as a PSD. And so it'll be saving. And then you can go ahead and go to File and Save As. You can just save it as an image too. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in Final Poster. And I'm saving it as a PSD. We didn't want that, so I click Cancel. Make sure you change your document to the right settings. Click OK, and I'm going to show you the outcome. So let's go ahead and go into the folder. As you can see, it's saving right here. Once it's done, it's going to be over here. You just double click on it, and this is the final outcome. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. It's very fun. I had fun making it. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you guys like. You can thumbs down if you dislike. It doesn't bother me none. I just don't understand why people would dislike my videos, but it's okay. So Again, thumbs up if you enjoyed, thumbs down if you dislike. It's all good. Comment, rate, and subscribe. And I hope you guys once again enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope to have more for you guys soon. Bye, guys.